What's up, y'all? This is Alex from the Rim Review. The Rim Review is a page that provides in-depth basketball analysis and gives nuance to the way you watch the game. In today's episode, we're going to have an Olympic preview by giving you one name you need to know on each team. Some of these guys would be considered X Factor, maybe second or third, maybe even bench role guys, and other players may be the star on their team. However, these are all names that are going to have a big impact in the Summer Olympics in the coming weeks. We're going to start off in Group A, and we're going to look at Australia's key X Factor, Dyson Daniels. Daniels has had a brief career in the NBA so far, playing for the New Orleans Pelicans, as he was recently traded actually to the Atlanta Hawks. Daniels is going to need to step up for Australia in the Olympics, especially with the recent injury to Dante Exum. One of the things that has plagued Dyson Daniels so far in his NBA career is a very inconsistent and frequently poor shooting stroke. However, as Daniels is going to have to play alongside Josh Giddey, a notorious poor shooter, he's going to have to A, shoot at a higher clip, but more realistically, he's going to have to make quick reads and decisions and be really good attacking the closeouts that are going to be helping off of him. And so what I mean by that is teams are frequently going to play off Daniels when he doesn't have the ball in his hands, as Patty Mills will more likely than not be the primary ball handler for Australia. So when Dyson Daniels does get the ball, his man is going to be sprinting back at him, and Daniels' ability to attack closeouts is going to have a huge impact on whether or not Australia is able to make it to the next round and go far in this Olympics. I'm really excited to see Daniels make a leap this Olympics, and I hope he carries it to next season. With the second team in Group A, we're going to look at a wing who is a Greek wing, and many of you may be thinking, oh, Giannis Antetokounmpo. But the real X factor for Greece in this Olympics is going to be the performance of Thomas Walkup. Many of you don't know Thomas Walkup as he plays in the Greek league for Olympiakos. However, he is an excellent shooter and great connective playmaker. Teams are going to be building a wall against Giannis, and that's how you're going to stop Greece. He's very clearly one of the better players in this Olympics, as he's a top 3 player, top 5 player in the world, and Greece does not have a ton of NBA talent surrounding him. So what Greece is going to have to do is have players such as Walkup make contested or lightly contested shots and move well off the ball. Walkup is excellent at this, as he consistently shoots in the mid-40s at 45.8% from beyond the arc, and he's played consistently in FIBA series so far, and he's played at a very high level, and he's actually currently at a small forward position, being the leading assist player on the Greek team. If Walkup continues to make simple kicks to his open man and knock down open shots, Greece has a real threat to steal a bid and move on out of this group of death. Now we're going to move on to Canada, who is clearly the favorite to win this group, and many people have them as the favorite to beat the United States if the United States does not win. And I think a lot of Canada's success is going to come down to how well does Andrew Nembhard run the second unit. Everybody knows that Shea is going to be a huge spark plug for Canada, and when you surround him with players such as Dylan Brooks and Dwight Powell, you're getting a really great core on a Canadian team that is made up almost exclusively of NBA level talent. However, the Pacers experienced this in their playoff run, and Andrew Nembhard's ability to get other guys open and run the second unit is what allowed the Pacers to go on a run, as Nembhard started many games as well in that playoff run, and it's going to be what allows Canada to go for gold in this Olympics. Nembhard's capable shooting, connective passing, and ability to get involved in pick and rolls with a variety of different Canada centers is going to be what gives Shea the break and takes the load off, because the Olympics is a very tiring experience. We have to remember these guys are away from their home. Shea is a massive guy who's going to be sleeping, if he sleeps in the Olympic Village, on a cardboard bed. These are the types of harms that these players are going for, and fatigue is a huge factor in international play, and a majority of these NBA guys are also learning how to play another style of basketball. So having guys step up and come off the bench and play at a high level such as Nembhard is going to be huge, and Canada needs him if they want to take down the US. Now we're going to move on to the Spanish national team, which has typically been a really big threat in the Olympics. However, in this group, many people are overlooking them. And I think Lorenzo Brown is going to be someone that is going to put the Spanish national team back on the map. And Lorenzo Brown also is a capable shooter, as he shot 35.4% in his last season overseas, and he's also extremely talented in the pick and roll, as 48.3% of all of his possessions involve a ball screen. The way Spain has traditionally been a very capable team has been by running an be a huge name this Olympics. Now let's move on to Group B, and we're going to talk about France, who is the team with a ton of star power. Now, a lot of people are probably thinking at a lot of the big names, and obviously Wembanyama and Gobert are huge, and they are what is making France a real threat to win gold. However, I don't want people to overlook the veteran point guard at 37 years old. Nando De Colo has been a huge piece for French basketball over the years, and I see him doing the exact same thing this year going forward. Yes, there are NBA guys on this team, but watch De Colo take over, run the offense, and get France into their sets. Obviously, when they need a bucket at the end of the game, they're going to go to guys like Batum and Wemby. But I think De Colo in the second and third quarter is going to be huge, getting to his spots and getting others involved. He's a tall, lanky, very capable passer that has a high basketball IQ and is going to compete. Obviously, at his age, there are people that may attack him on the defensive end, but I'm very excited to see De Colo play and once again dominate in an international stage. Now let's talk about Germany, which is the reigning FIBA World Champs. And guess what? Obviously, guys like Dennis Schroeder are going to be there, but look forward to hearing the name Anders Obst. He's currently shooting 48.4% in the exhibition series that they've had, and he shot 42.8% this year with Bayern. Obst is going to be coming off of a variety of different pin down, floppy, and creative sets to get open, and his ability to move off ball is going to allow guards such as Dennis Schroeder to have a great and highlight assists. I love Obst's movement, and I think he can be a great piece inserted into the starting lineup and off the bench, but he's really going to elevate Germany in this Olympics. Now let's talk about Japan, and to be honest, Japan is in one of the worst spots this Olympics. However, if Japan wants to make a run and get out of their extremely difficult group, it's going to require stellar play from Josh Hawkinson. The former Washington State big man has been playing in Japan for so long that he's actually gained Japanese citizenship, and he's playing on the national team. He has to be a big man that plays greater than his size if he wants them to succeed. At 6'10", he's going to have to go head-to-head with guys like Wemby and Gobert. However, I'm excited to watch his nice touch shot, and I hope that his veteran playmaking will allow him to be a force to be reckoned with. Japan has a ton of shooters on the perimeter, and I would love to see them run a delay series with Hawkinson at the top of the key and making reads, getting the ball to other players. While Hawkinson himself is not a very talented shooter, I love his ability to set screens, get others involved, and just be a big man to help get some of those other better scorers the ball. If Hawkinson is able to be a facilitating big man and compete defensively, Japan could steal a game or two. Now let's talk about Brazil, and I think Brazil is going to have to rely on Gui Santos really making a leap and using his skills that he's learned on the Golden State Warriors to elevate the Brazilian team. Brazil is a squad full of veterans, however I think the 22-year-old Santos could make a big impact. One of the areas that I think he could impact is his cutting, where he averaged 1.727 points per possession on cuts in Golden State. He's an extremely intelligent player who's going to play on the perimeter, and I think if he takes advantage of some lackadaisical defense, as some teams might not be used to playing with each other as much as some others, and I think Santos could take advantage of that and cut for some easy baskets. I also think that Santos is going to have to take the load off of some of the Brazilian veterans who might not be able to play at a level of some other teams such as France and Germany. If Santos does the little things, there's an outside shot that Brazil could move on to the next round. However, similarly to Japan, it's going to be difficult for anyone not named France and Germany to make it out of this group. Now, let's move on to the final group, which is Group C, that includes teams such as Serbia, South Sudan, the United States, and Puerto Rico. Let's start off with Serbia, and I think it is going to come down to the play of Vasilij Micic. Everybody knows Jokic is the guy on Serbia, and he is going to be the one with the ball most of the time. However, in a very grinded out Olympics, Jokic is going to need to take breaks, and it is at that times that I think Micic can really run the offense. He's one of the best passers as he dominated the EuroLeague and had a very great assist to turnover ratio and played quite well for the Charlotte Hornets at the end of last season. And I think Misic's high basketball IQ and ability to run an offense is going to allow Serbia to succeed. I think Misic's biggest issue is going to be his extremely poor play on the defensive end, and I question his ability to guard anybody on the United States team, and even some other guys such as Carlik Jones on South Sudan. I think there's a 0% chance Micic could really do much at all if he switched on to him, as Misic's old age and just overall slow body is going to make it difficult for him. However, if Micic can play even just somewhat below average defense instead of being just like horrendous, if he's able to just be somewhat okay, I think Serbia has a good chance to fight and have a shot to get out of this group. Now let's talk about South Sudan, who's going to rely heavily on Carlik Jones. For those of you who watched the US South Sudan exhibition game, Carlik Jones was a monster. His ability to get teammates involved, compete on the defensive end, and play much bigger than his size, as well as get to the rim and have extreme acrobatic finishes, it really is just fun to watch Jones play. For South Sudan to be successful, they're going to need Jones to deal with the wear and tear that he's probably going to have to face as a number one option on the international stage. Jones is not only going to have to be able to score for himself, he's going to have to get a variety of different shooters, such as Peter Jock, involved, and I think he's able to do that with his great passing. Jones is also playing for an NBA contract, as he's been on a couple 10-days and two-way contracts over the past couple of years, but I would love to see Jones gain a full contract through playing well at this Olympics. If Jones is on his A game, there's a real shot for South Sudan to get outside of this group. When talking about the United States, pretty much everyone knows all of their players. But what I really think their success is going to come down to is the health of Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant loves playing international basketball, and if he wins gold this year, he's going to have more gold medals than any United States basketball player on the male side ever. If Durant is able to play, it's going to allow the United States to have more roster flexibility. He's going to be able to take a load off of LeBron, and he's going to be able to get others involved. Everyone knows how Durant plays. He's a superstar, and despite his age, is still one of the best players in the world. If Durant is able to be healthy, he's going to want it, he's going to compete, and he's going to give everything he can to allow the United States to get another gold medal. Now, let's wrap it up with Puerto Rico, who is in one of the tougher spots out of all the teams in this Olympics. One issue that is going to plague Puerto Rico is size, and a lot of this load is going to come down to their X factor, George Condit. Condit played at Iowa State, and there he was listed at 6'9". There have been recent listings that have him at 6'10", 6'11". However, at your age, if you're listed at 6'9" at Iowa State, you're probably no taller than 6'10" now at 23. Condit is going to have to go up against a variety of much taller bigs, including a three-headed monster in the United States with Embiid and AD, and then Bam, who is shorter but extremely talented, as well as a variety of talented bigs on South Sudan, and Nikola Jokic on Serbia, and a lot of the weight is going to be placed on him. If he is able to be physical and give those guys a tough time and just purely fight, maybe Puerto Rico can make a couple games competitive. Condit typically likes to play in the pick and roll setting, and this is where he gets most of his baskets, but I think his X factor comes down to how hard he fights on the defensive end. Overall, I'm extremely excited for this Olympics, and there are a variety of different names that may become stars in the coming weeks. While obviously there are so many names I did not mention, I think that the 12 guys we discussed today are going to have huge impacts on whether or not their country is truly able to go for gold. If there are any names that I didn't mention that you would like me to cover more, or that you disagree with my opinions on, please feel free to let me know in the comments. And we'll be back at it again soon with another episode of The Rim Review.